Hi and hello Reefers, I am Coral. I'm back after over a month away from News Nug videos. I'm sorry for the delay. I have been traveling around having a lot of fun meeting Reefers in Barcelona, in Vancouver. I also got to spend some time in Paris with my boyfriend, which was amazing. And then very recently we went up to Santa Rosa as well and saw Reefers there. And then just last week I actually adopted a third dog for our home. We now have 3 dogs, 2 cats, and 5 lizards. Been a busybody, but the cannabis news does not stop. So I am back for a mega News Nug recap, and I want to jump right in because the USA versus pot has just been coming up so much when it comes to cannabis news research. We are in this position of will he or won't he protect pot when it comes to President Donald Trump, and unfortunately he's surrounded himself with people who have made themselves pretty clear that they're anti-pot, including Jeff Sessions, who is very obviously misinformed on cannabis, and unfortunately in a very powerful position. Every week there is a new article coming out speculating on how well cannabis might do or how damaging the Trump administration may be to the industry, but the bottom line is we need federal change. Our states are vulnerable regardless of the laws that they pass regarding recreational or medical use and how amazing the laws may be, and we're so proud of them for making that progress. We're so vulnerable without federal change. Very recently, 2 lawmakers from Oregon have put forward a 3-bill plan to protect cannabis across the United States. It's really worth looking into. I highly urge you guys to support it and tell your representatives to support it as well, because this 3-bill plan needs to pass all around and it faces really heavy opposition in our very conservative United States government right now. America is not alone with being in a complicated place when it comes to marijuana and the legal or illegal status. Canada has undergone a series of raids in the last month, including so many on cannabis culture dispensaries across the country. After this firestorm of raid action, the Canadian government has then turned around and said that they will be releasing a timeline of legalization, and they plan to have legalization enabled by mid-2018. It seems really promising and very exciting, but I remain a little bit skeptical. I definitely suggest that you follow Jody Emery on Twitter or Facebook. She's very active and tries to be very transparent about what's going on. And I recently saw this little thought on her Twitter timeline. I'm not sure if it came from her or someone that she retweeted, but it really stuck with me. And it was that legalization should include the current market, not be created to eliminate it. And I just think that's so poignant for what's going on. If you want to leave some weird comment that you think they should have waited for legalization and gotten the licenses and gotten the permits, I understand where you're coming from in a legal sense. Yes, I understand that. But the bottom line is I support civil disobedience. I support opening lounges and giving people access to cannabis. I put my money where my mouth was and I went and I supported their lounge when I was in Vancouver for the mail order marijuana cup. I had a great time. It was a safe place, and I definitely support the Emrys. So I really highly suggest if you are in Canada, show support, show that you want legalization now. Their timetable's not enough, and definitely stay involved. There was also an article that I shared on News Nug regarding raids and prohibition in the United States, and it summarized that prohibition and the SWAT style raid is more deadly than cannabis has ever been. That's no surprise to anyone that knows anything about cannabis, but it is nice to have these cold hard facts in front of us. Unfortunately, these facts come at the expense of people's lives. Police officers and cannabis users have died over a plant, and it's time that that ends with legalization. The past month hasn't been all fire and brimstone, I promise. Some progress has been made stateside as well. Georgia did add a few conditions to their medical marijuana qualifying list. However, PTSD didn't make the cut, and that's something that's heavy in my heart. I wish that it had, but 6 more conditions were added to that list, so it's definitely a step in the right direction. And I thought it was a really promising sign that down in Georgia, 45-6 voted to expand the medical marijuana program in this way. I hear from people all over the South that it's never going to happen to their state. It's never going to get that approval. But here we have an example of 45-6 in favor of adding a few more conditions to the medical marijuana program. It's not enough. PTSD should be on it, but it's something. I'll take it for now. Illinois also making some strides forward. They don't expect a vote until next year. However, they have been putting out some press and putting forward some legislation that they are looking at full recreational use under an ounce permitted for adults. And I think it was 5 plants to be grown per adult. The selling point in Illinois is the financial benefits of legalization and the taxation that can come into the state. And if you are in favor of this in Illinois, definitely call your rep, send emails, show up, book appointments with them, do whatever you need to make sure that when it comes time to actually vote sometime next year, they know that their voters want them to vote yes on legalization. Jump over to Maine, where I have a bittersweet story to share with all of you. A kidney patient was booted from the transplant hopeful list because he's a medical marijuana patient. And this is a common practice in many states that have passed medical marijuana laws. They don't specify that it would be illegal for a hospital to boot a patient from a transplant list. And if they test positive for a federally illegal drug, which cannabis is, they get taken off that list. Just to put into some perspective how common this is, it took California 19 years to change that after passing medical marijuana, and it wasn't until 2015 that we actually changed the law and transplant patients are now allowed to use medical marijuana to treat their conditions. The bitter part of the story is that the patient was booted from that list, but the sweet part is that the Maine government is actually looking at changing the law and prohibiting hospitals from barring patients from the transplant list if they test positive for medical marijuana. There's one hospital that says they have an issue with this because it can heighten some fungal infection risk, but the states that have allowed it so far doesn't seem to be a problem in. And if we've been paying attention to cannabis over the years, we know it can actually help heal. It's not going to be causing these infections. It's really, really easy to hear something from a doctor and think that it's true, think that they have your well-being in mind, and just take it for what it is. But if we really look throughout history, doctors have been bought. Doctors don't always have your well-being in mind. And unfortunately, doctors have been used by our government to say things that are just not true when it helps support their pockets. We can also take the hopeful approach that doctors are just really, really misinformed, and that falls on us, the patients, unfortunately, to talk with them, encourage them to get informed, to attend conferences, to ask their colleagues and talk to them about medical marijuana, and hopefully we can get some doctors speaking out more vocally against these myths and allegations about pot. That is it for this mega News Nug recap. Please go and add News Nug on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, wherever you stay high on social media. The account is News Nug, one word. And I'd really love to hear what you think about these stories, plus a few more that I've been sharing over the last month. I will see you guys on the internet. Stay informed and stay high. Thumbs up if you watched all the way till the end. Thanks, you guys. Wait, can you get, wait. No, you can leave it, it's fine now.